Welcome to Vikings basketball with head coach Jase Coburn. The Portland State Vikings are home for their final 3 regular season home games. Very exciting week for the Vikings as they work for Big Sky tournament positioning, right now in 3rd place, and that's where they want to be when they get to the tournament. Unable to reach 2nd place right now as we come home, but that's all right, Coach. 3rd is a good spot. It gets you a first-round bye. It gets you a quarterfinal game with the number 6 seed. I'm sure that's probably what you're preaching to your team. Let's go out and win some games, hold our position in the conference standings. How excited are you about this final week at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is we're excited to be home. It feels like we haven't been home in forever. I know we had that weekend here 2 weeks ago, but I think 6 of our last 8 have been on the road. 3 of the last 4 weeks we've been on the road. So it's been a tough stretch schedule-wise, but the guys are fighting through it. And yeah, I mean, obviously being back home where we've got a great record and great support here, you know, we know we're a good team at home, so we're excited to be able to play these 3 games and get after it. You know, when it comes to the seeding, I mean, we're going to let all that fall where it falls, you know, but we'll be ready for the conference tournament, so no matter what happens.
All right, a few numbers for you. The Vikings at home this season, 10-1. They're 6-0 in Big Sky home games. They've won their last 8 home games in a row. Coach, there's all kinds of numbers. You've won 9 Big Sky home games in a row if you date back to last year. So it goes really well here at Viking Pavilion. How much of an edge is this for your team?
Oh, it's absolutely. I mean, being able to play in the Viking Pavilion definitely gives us a home court advantage. We know that, you know, when we get good crowds, I mean, this place gets really loud and we can feed off the energy. I think everybody knows that we're a team that really plays with a lot of emotion and energy and passion. And so it gets turned up even more when we're at home. So like I said, we're excited to be home. We know it's a good home court advantage. We don't have to travel and bus and fly and do all the, you know, sleep in hotel beds and all that. We get to sleep in our own beds and you know, so yeah, we're really excited to be home finally.
All right. One thing about the Vikings in recent weeks, they've had a shorter bench. They've had some health issues. You missed Kelsey Phipps for a little while. Hayden Curtis has been out a little while. Trevon Minot was unable to play last Saturday. Coach, no matter how good a team is, you can be the best team in the league, you can be the worst team in the league. If you're not healthy, none of that really seems to matter. What's the status of your team right now going into this week's play?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting all those guys evaluated every single week or day. You know, we'll see where all that ends up. We're working through all that through the evaluation process, and hopefully we can get some of those guys back here coming up. But if not, like, you know, we know that we're still a really good team, and I got a lot of confidence in all the guys. And you know, at Idaho State we finished the game with 7 guys, and you know, and they tried their hardest, and they played as hard as they possibly could. And then when we were at Weber, we had 8 guys, and you know, so you know, we're going to continue to scrap and fight no matter what the team looks like. And we got confidence in everybody who puts a jersey on, so to be able to step up and go out there and help our team in any way. So, you know, it's a good opportunity for some guys who hadn't been playing a whole lot, and, you know, but we'll just take it day by day, and whoever's available, that's what we'll roll with.
Well, that's good. And one thing that's been very noticeable, especially last week, even though the Vikings took a couple losses, Terry Miller Jr. has really lifted his plays, actually leading the team in scoring in Big Sky games at 15 a game. Had a career-high 28 at Idaho State. He had a double-double at Weber State. He gave your team a chance to win. I mean, all the guys did, but he really stepped up, gave your team a chance to win those games.
Yeah, I mean, that was one thing we talked about in pregame earlier in the day when we knew TV wasn't going to play against Weber State, about people needed to step up, not just the guys who hadn't been playing a whole lot, but we needed everybody to expand their roles a little bit more, not just make up for TV, but everybody just needed to do a little bit more. So, and Terry's one of those guys who really stepped up in that Weber game and tried to do a little bit more. Thought he did a great job on the glass, and you know, and some other things defensively he really stepped up with. So, you know, I mean, like I said, it's not only on the guys who haven't been playing as much, but it's also on everybody to just do a little bit more when somebody's out.
All right, as we look ahead to this week's games, we actually have 3 games in 5 days. Montana State Thursday night, 7 p.m., Montana Saturday at 2 p.m., and then the final game of the regular season Monday, Sacramento State, 7 p.m., all 3 right here. Come down to Viking Pavilion and watch the Vikings. You can also see them on ESPN+. Coach, as we look at those 3 games, I hate to bring up a bad thought, but you lost to all 3 of those teams on the road. 2 of them in very, very close games. Montana State, defending tournament champ in the Big Sky. Montana currently in first place. Sacramento State, a team that's at the bottom of the standings, but always kind of seems to give the Vikings a little trouble. What do you see? Go through those three teams a little bit and tell us what you see.
Yeah, I mean, we are very well aware that we lost all three of those teams, and then we got all three of these teams at home. First, Montana State is really talented. They got a great coaching staff, and like you said, they have NCAA tournament experience. But so we know that that's going to be a great challenge, and we fully respect them and understand who they are as a team. And then obviously, you talked about Montana being on a big win streak, and they've got their thing rolling right now. So we know we're going to need to play really well on that night too. And then Sac State, like you mentioned, Sac State's always a tough team to play. It's always been a thing through three different coaches where Sac has always been a tough team to play against. So we know that we got three quality, really good opponents coming up, and we got to take it one game at a time. I know that's probably cliche or whatever, but that's really how we live. So, first one's up on Montana State.
That is a big cliche. As we look at those teams, my thoughts are, number one, it lost by a single point at Montana State. Great rally at the end of that game to nearly pull it off. Montana, very dynamic offensive team. They're in first place because of the Vikings. You knocked off Northern Colorado 2 weeks ago, broke that tie between the two teams. That's got Montana in first. Sacramento State, a team that always seems to control the pace of the game, and I think that's maybe where they give us a little trouble. What do you have to do to maybe take control of those teams here at home when they found a way to beat you on the road?
I think they're all very different. All three teams play different styles, have different types of personnel. So they're all very different. So that's
a big coaching week.
Yeah, that'll be challenging in itself, is to be able to flip those games, real quick, with a day in between on all three of, or I guess on two of them. But we have to play our style. We've got to do what we do great. And I say this all the time, but like in the Big Sky, you got to play well to win. You can't just play average and think you're going to win. Every team's a good team. Every team can beat any team. And so, but it just comes down to, us playing how we are capable of playing. And I think that on a consistent level, people have seen it this year. And so we just need to be able to do that for a stretch of 3 games and carry that into the conference tournament.
Okay, final thought. And this is one that I know always tugs at your heart. Senior night is going to be next Monday night against Sacramento State, and you'll have a handful of seniors going out. We won't run through every player. We'll have a feature on them on our ESPN Plus broadcast, and we'll get it out there on GoVikes.com. But talk about your senior group just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, our senior group, has really held our season together. I always miss the seniors, coming up. It's always an emotional time for me, because one of the things I pride myself on as a coach is not just coaching basketball, but trying to help people achieve their dreams and goals and give them a great student-athlete experience. So it's always, like you said, it always tugs at my heartstrings, because I just, that's one of my main things as a coach, is I'm here to help our players. More so than win basketball games and all that. So, we've got a couple guys who've been here a really long time, and so it's going to be sad to see them go. But at the same time, I got the feeling that they feel like we're not done on senior night. So we'll get the thing rolling and see how many more games we can get those guys.
All right, and of course, referring to the Big Sky Conference Tournament, which is March 8th through 12th in Boise. But what we're paying attention to right now this week is Vikings basketball at home. Montana State Thursday night, 7 p.m. Montana Saturday, 2 p.m. And then Sacramento State next Monday, once again at 7 p.m. Lots of excitement here, a chance to go out on a high for the Vikings and get some momentum into that Big Sky tournament. For all your information on Vikings basketball, go to GoVikes.com.